COVID-19 case situation in the United States for April 8th, 2020. Before I get started, I just want to let you know I'm going to do a very quick run through of the numbers today, not much in the way of explanation. If you need some explanation, I do have some prior videos, specifically my very first video and another video called Coronavirus Math that gets more into explaining what these numbers mean. But for now, I'm just going to go right through the numbers. The other disclaimer I want to give you is everything that I present in this video is about the U.S. as a whole, and every individual state and municipality is going to have different numbers than this, and I'm actually planning to release a video either today or tomorrow that gets more into the situation in localities. So with that, let's go on forward. I'd like to encourage everyone who likes this content to please like, subscribe, and share it with those who may find this interesting. All right, the numbers being presented by the CDC for the total cumulative cases have increased to 395,000. This chart obviously is still increasing, but it looks, somewhat reassuring that this appears to have decelerated somewhat. So let's take a look at that. This is the growth rate. The last time I reported these numbers to you, the latest one-day percentage change was about 9%, and over the last couple of days, it's increased and then decreased again. So, but really, it's this overall 3-day average trend that's a little bit more reliable. So you see that is decreasing and hopefully heading towards zero before too long. That would be nice. All right, our new reported cases, so that's just the change day over day in absolute terms, has seemingly decreased, and it's hard to call this a trend when you had a giant increase on one day and then a giant decrease on the next. But over this time period here, the growth rate certainly has appeared to slow down, which is very good news. This is the growth rate in new cases in percentage terms. You see in the recent time period, just on the one-day basis, there's been an increase in volatility. It was relatively low volatility, and then this growth rate has changed. That could be a number of things, but probably due to variations in reporting practices across states and municipalities is my guess. But again, it's the trend line that we need to be concerned about. So let me show you that. Here is the rolling 7-day average percentage daily change, and you can see that there is a definite downward trend here. So very, very, very good news for the U.S. as a whole on new cases in the percentage change in new cases. All right, those of you who follow me know that I like to present the data, the new cases based on date of illness onset, and that's what this chart is. The number the CDC is presenting is 156,700 roughly cases there that they have estimated dates of onset. Now, this is 39.7% of the total cumulative cases being reported by the CDC. So, pretty large sample, and actually that sample has grown. I will talk about that a little more in a future slide. All right, here is the chart that I presented last time, and moving that down just to give room for the new data. And here is that was reported, the new cases that were reported yesterday that have estimated that. Okay. So you see these orange cases, those are the new cases that were new as of 4 p.m. on April 6th, reported yesterday. you see these bars are really thick. Something that I found really interesting is these numbers were actually more than 100% of the new reported cases. So the cases that have an estimated date of onset has been around 25% of the total cumulative cases. So so that has increased to 39.7%, as I described earlier. And my only understanding of this is that there must have been a huge number of cases for which there had not been an estimated date of onset. And then over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of those cases that did not have an estimate and now do. And so they're now included in this number. And that's why they're appearing today. It's not really an accurate sign that they're being reported as new cases now. Rather, their estimated date of onset is being reported. So what that does for us is it gives us more confidence in this chart because it gives us a better sample of the total. So here are the new cases that were added these are the new cases as of 4 p.m. on April 6th. The new cases as of 4 p.m. April 7th were just reported today. Okay, now the key thing that I want to point out here is that in these last 2 days, the peak unfortunately has moved several days to the right, and I'll show you that here. So you see 2 days ago, this is where the peak was, and that is 6 days ago. So in 2 days where our sample size has increased, we have seen the peak move much further to the right, which just means that sadly, basically I have less confidence that we have hit the peak here. Now, there are some interesting things about this that I don't really understand. I don't know why there are these sort of chunks missing. Like we had relatively smooth growth, and then we have chunk missing here, a chunk missing here. Strangely, those two chunks, both here and here, represent, those are Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday. I think it's coincidence, but don't know why they're missing. But the peak has moved 6 days to the right over the last 2 days, and so I have less confidence today than I did 2 days ago that we have hit peak new cases, or I didn't really think we had hit peak new cases, but it gave me some optimism that the new case rate was slowing down, and I have a little bit less confidence about that now. So let's look at the logarithmic chart. This is the logarithmic chart that I presented 2 days ago, and on the same scale, here is what it looks like. Or actually, I'll show you. I'm going to draw this red line here just so you can see where it was 2 days ago, and then I'm going to add in the new cases of the last 2 days. Okay, so you see that this line right here maintained a straight trajectory, which basically means that it's exponential growth, and then we see that 2 days ago it had seemingly kind of plateaued. Over the last 2 days, new cases were added that aren't exactly at the same growth rate, but it's possible as we go into the future that this will continue. But right now, it's looking like the growth rate has slowed somewhat. So let's go ahead and look at the calculated growth rates for the data that we have so far. All right, here are the growth rate in the new cases by date of onset, and here is the last peak. So I'll show you what I mean by that. I'll go back and show you All right, so what I mean by the last peak is this number right here. Okay, so, all right, so that red line is the last peak. And as far as I'm concerned, that's the last reliable kind of date that I would really want anyone to look at for any kind of guidance about where these growth rates are. So I would encourage people not to focus on this side of the chart because there are going to be new cases added in this area, and I just wouldn't want anyone to rely on that. But we see that the growth rate, and I would encourage people to look at the 7-day growth rate just because it's a little bit more smooth, less volatile. We see that it had slowed and then it's increased a little bit. I am concerned that what we may be seeing here is that some of the earliest states to have gotten cases, especially New York, which had the highest percentage of cases, it's ranged. New York and New Jersey have been roughly 50% of all U.S. cases, and their situation is starting to improve as far as new cases. But on the opposite, on the flip side of that coin, other parts of the nation are starting to see acceleration, just at the same time that they're slowing. So I'm concerned that we might see another leg up here for the U.S. as a whole. And in a future video, either I'm going to try to release it either today or tomorrow. I'm going to try to get into what these growth rates look like across the nation so we can have a better idea. But as I'm concluding this video, I want to remind everyone, again, so everything I presented in this is the U.S. as a whole. It doesn't necessarily represent what's happening in your locality. Even if we were to interpret this as new cases slowing down, that does not mean that we should stop mitigation procedures such as social distancing and hand washing. It's still very important that we continue that. And I want everybody to stay safe and healthy out there. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified. And please also share this video with anyone who may find it interesting. Thanks again for watching, and have a nice day. Stay safe. Bye.